today on 2+U Nevada.
Where we can look and see which makes the most sense. Or are there some special things about that borrower?
Demystifying reverse mortgages, why they might be right for some, especially if there are health or care expenses in the golden years.
We need to be mindful of what's happening with our kids, our kids, our teenagers, even as adults, as parents, just kind of checking in.
Today is World Mental Health Day, why it's so important to take a pulse read on our young family members and how to actually get them to open up.
So in partnership with the city of Sparks, it's like, okay, let's have a party.
A literary party in downtown Sparks, the arts organization that is honoring artists of the written word. You're watching 2+U Nevada. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for this edition of 2+U Nevada. I'm Sarah Johns, your host. It is Friday, woohoo! And if Fridays are your chore days, or if you're getting all the laundry done before school starts again on Monday, we feel you and appreciate you tuning in while folding. Well, one of my favorite ways of cooking is on the stovetop. I don't barbecue and I rarely bake a casserole, but I'm pretty good with a pan. A fight is brewing, though, for our neighbors to the west in California. There's a proposal to ban PFAS, the so-called forever chemicals, in nonstick cookware. Teflon, a nonstick coating, is a type of PFAS that health experts warn could be dangerous if it is overheated because of potential links to cancer and other health risks. Now, there are celebrity chefs like Rachel Ray who argue nonstick pans are safe if used properly and warn a ban could hurt home cooks. Now, I'm not taking a stance on whether you should or should not cook with a nonstick pan, but if you have one and aren't going to go out and buy a new pan, here are some guidelines that supposedly keep you safe while using nonstick pans. 1, keep the heat low. High heat can degrade the coating and release toxic fumes. The magic number is apparently 500 degrees. Don't exceed that. Also, always add a fat to the pan first, and don't preheat your pan. Hand wash your pan and always line with a soft cloth or paper towel for storage so that other pans don't scratch it. Well, we've got a great show for you today. Today is World Mental Health Day. Not only are we talking to Emilio Parga of Solace Tree about our kids' mental health, but we also speak with Quest Counseling about perinatal mental health. That's the beginning stages of pregnancy, including attempting to conceive. What Quest is doing for all parents in this time. Don't go anywhere. We are thrilled to have you joining us today for 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada, and we are here at Quest Counseling and Consulting. Joining me now, Jillian Anderson and Elia Nelson. Thank you both so much for being here and talking about this very important topic in our community, mental health. And Jillian, please explain to me what Quest does.
Yeah, happily. Quest does a lot of things. So we are a community behavioral health center, which means that we offer so many services. So mental health, substance use support and services, psychiatric services. We offer services for both children and adults. And then we also have our wraparound care, which includes peer support services and basic living skills and psychosocial rehabilitation and targeted case management. Quest really wants to be of service and of use to the people in our community, with being able to meet them where they're at, as well as provide services here at Quest. Oh, and we also offer group support services.
And you don't turn anybody away.
Correct.
That's fantastic. One thing that you mentioned to me before we even started was that you have been here a long time, and then you developed and saw a need for perinatal mental health care. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Quest has been around since 2003. I've been with Quest for over 10 years. And what happened was that I got pregnant, and then I was like, oh my gosh, working with moms has always been a passion anyway. And it just really highlighted for me the need in our community for this specialized form of care, which is perinatal mental health.
And Elia, when does a woman come here, and how do you define perinatal?
Perinatal is conception or trying to conceive up to a year postpartum. So if you're trying to have a baby, and it also covers partners. So the whole family is covered under that umbrella of services.
And for many people, especially like I was 39, my son was due on my 39th birthday and 41. So there was obviously a lot of work going into having a family for us. And, some people have it a little bit easier than others in conception alone. And that can be a very stressful time for a couple.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about what you do for services for the partner as well in this process, helping to support a woman who might be having a hard time conceive.
There's a lot of stigma around that. And so it's really important that it gets talked about like in your family and as a couple. And so bringing that conversation to the table, period, is really important. Sometimes it doesn't get shared. They just support you and don't really know what to do. And so there's a lot of stress and anxiety that goes with that. So it's really important to have that conversation up front. And, now that we're out here, men can seek services too. We offer some support services for men who are trying to support their partners. And also, how do I put that? It's a couple support group as well, so that everybody's in it together, because it affects the whole family. So it's really important for everybody to be included.
It really does. And even how to even talk to couples who are trying to conceive and might be having a hard time as well. Mm-hmm. There's a whole language around that.
Yeah, it can be a pretty lonely time, I think, for a lot of people who are trying to conceive but not able. And so part of what this program does, and we actually recently received a new grant to kind of expand our perinatal program to offer services to the rural communities as well as more urban. And one of the things that Elia and I came up with was not just a support group for the pregnant and parenting and postpartum birthing person, but also their partners. Also adoptive parents, and it kind of really can encompass anybody who's working in that realm.
Trying to get a new member of their family.
Yep, absolutely. And so support groups is one of the things that we're launching. Also screening is really important. And so being able to talk with clients and potential clients about screening for perinatal mental health. So there's a screening that's available. The most common one is called the Edinburgh postnatal screening, depression screening. And it's just 10 questions. And we're really trying to provide education about this as well, because really what we ideally want OBs and pediatricians and even like daycare providers, anybody who comes in contact with a person in the perinatal period, to be able to be screened for that Edinburgh, to use the Edinburgh because it's just easier.
I'm just going to share a little insight. When I had our daughter, 3 months to the day after returning to work from my maternity leave, I got laid off. No fault of my own. It was a startup life, but I felt so worthless. And I couldn't understand what I did to get laid off. And it really affected me for quite a long time. And I never felt comfortable talking about it. And even going to the doctor's office, they ask you the questions, and I hid the truth. And I just owned that I was worthless for a while. So what do you want to tell moms out there?
Yeah, I think that your experience of worthlessness overall is not uncommon. And a lot of women feel lonely in that. And so really it's 1 in 5 women who experience perinatal mental health, and 1 in 10 partners. And so it's so much more common than really people are aware of. And that's part of what this program is about, is really providing that education that it's not your fault. You don't have to be alone, and there is help. With help and treatment, it's actually a very easily treatable diagnosis. And so there's lots of things you can do for treatment as well. There's talk therapy, there's medication, there's support groups. There's so much available.
And you are online?
We are online, yes. So you can find us at Quest Counseling at our website. You can call us anytime.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. You are watching 2+U Nevada. watching 2+U Nevada. Joining us this afternoon, Tia Flores from Sierra Arts Foundation. Tia, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Oh, appreciate the invitation, Sarah. Thank you.
We are so excited. So Sierra Arts Foundation has been around for 50 plus years in our community.
Yes, it was formed in the early 1970s as basically people came together and wanted to have a united voice for the arts and culture in the Reno area.
And I remember when they were redoing the Riverside Hotel downtown?
Yes.
That's where you're housed now, right?
Yeah, so the leadership at that time, they realized that the MAPES had imploded and they really wanted to save the Riverside building. So they ended up purchasing in partnership with Art Space out of Minnesota. And so it houses, we converted those hotel rooms into live space for artists. So it's the artist lofts. We have our gallery, the Riverside Gallery, as well as our offices. And then Wild River Grill is on the front end facing the river.
Well, thank goodness you did that. Just saving a piece of our history. I was so sad when the MAPES imploded. I was down there covering that. It was just a sad sight to have that happen. So Sierra Arts Foundation is housed there. You just wrapped up having a big dinner on the bridge there.
Yes.
And now you're doing something else. You're pioneering a new event, this time in Sparks.
Yes, we're very excited to host the first ever Sierra Arts Book Fest, which is going to be this Saturday, October 11th in downtown Sparks, right in front of the Depot Gallery and Bookstore, which we manage, and the train there.
And you're bringing in authors. Go into what people can expect to see and who they can chat with.
Yeah, so the original intent on this, we work very closely with the literary community. In fact, a couple years ago, we founded the Sierra Arts Literary Community. So it's artists and poets and writers of all genres, and we come together once a month. And from that, we realized we had so many published authors that we decided to make some space in our Depot Gallery for a bookstore. So we have a bookstore that has these amazing books in it, and then we thought, well, we really want to let the community know about these authors, about the bookstore. So in partnership with the city of Sparks, it's like, okay, let's have a party. So we are. So it's this Saturday, and it's the first ever Book Fest in Northern Nevada. So we're very excited.
This is so awesome. And it's books for all ages, correct?
Absolutely. All ages, all genres. We have children's books, new young readers books, young adults. We have the fiction, nonfiction. We have romance. We have murder, mystery, psychological thrillers, fantasy. Fantasy is really popular, sci-fi. And what's really amazing about it is the diversity in the authors that we have. All kinds of backgrounds. It's just amazing to me.
And they all live here in Northern Nevada?
It's shocking, isn't it?
Who knew?
I know. It was shocking to us. And it really came out of a need. A friend of mine, she had just received a grant from the Nevada Arts Council, wanted to teach a writing class, but was looking for a venue. Yeah. At Sierra Arts, we always open up our space, especially for those that receive grants from the Arts Council. And so I was just chatting with her, and I was like, gosh, in programming, I'm always looking for literary artists. Where do you guys hide? And she says, well, we kind of work independently. So we put out the call, and like they say, build it and they will come.
Yeah.
And we have nearly 200 people now.
Oh my gosh, 200. And admittedly, so this is a little peek behind the curtain, but I'm in the middle of writing a manuscript.
Oh,
and so just hearing that you have a group for support, because it's not easy and it's hard to keep the commitment going, right?
Well, and I think that's one of the things we hear the most, especially from people that, attend the first time. It's usually the first Sunday of the month. And like I said, it's free, open to the public. And usually what they come away with, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I attended this, because now I want to go home and write. But I think what really makes it unique are all the other authors and how supportive they are. They share their knowledge, they share their experience, they share resources, which is really important. And especially in any industry, but particularly in this industry, what do you do? Do you go traditional way of publishing? Do you self-publish? How do you market? How do you get into a critique group? There are all these questions that I never thought about because, I'm a visual artist, but I've learned so much. But I have to say, it's amazing supportive group. I mean, they're just wonderful.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so 2 things. How do people go to this book fest this weekend, inaugural book fest?
Yes.
And then how do people help Sierra Arts Foundation, and how do wannabe authors join this group?
Okay, what I would say is visit the Sierra Arts website. We've got the information on there about the book fest. And again, that is this Saturday, October 11th from 10 to 4 in downtown Sparks. It's free, open to the public. It's family friendly. We're going to have kids crafts, writing, art crafts. We'll have what we call author chats in the Depot Gallery. So you'll get to hear the authors talk about their craft. And then we'll have 28 authors, local authors that are published with all their books out in front as well. Okay. We're also encouraging people come out dressed as your favorite book character.
Okay. Tia, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're watching 2+ Univada. You are watching 2+ Univada. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Joining us, Tom McDonald from Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. And Tom, you're here to talk about reverse mortgages in our current market and strategies surrounding those. But
Correct.
First of all, tell everyone at home your background.
Well, I first started in reverse mortgages with Wells Fargo. At one point, they left the business, and so I bounced around a little bit. But now I'm back here in Reno with Mutual of Omaha.
Wonderful. And you've been doing this for decades.
Yes, since 2002, so over 20 years.
Fantastic. Give us a kind of a brief primer on what reverse mortgages are.
Sure. The first thing to know is it's just a mortgage. So often people think the bank gets the house and they're giving up everything, but it's just a mortgage without monthly mortgage payments. Everything else about it is about the same in that you have a lien against the house, but you're not making the payments. There are other things going on that make it advantageous compared to a regular mortgage.
So let's talk about, is that what you call a proprietary reverse mortgage?
Either reverse mortgage. There's 2 types of reverse mortgages. There's the FHA insured version. That's a home equity conversion mortgage, letters HEC, and we pronounce it HECM. And then there's proprietary. The FHA version is done probably 90-95% of the time, and it has the most flexibility. But sometimes it doesn't fit a client, and so the proprietary may come into play in that particular case so that it can be done rather than not done at all.
And you can get a fixed rate with a HECM?
You can. For both of them, both the HECM and the proprietary, you can get a fixed rate. But right now, the adjustable is the most flexible, and you get more money because like a regular mortgage, fixed rates usually have a higher interest rate compared to adjustable rates. And right now we're thinking, of course we've been thinking this for a couple of years, but we think that interest rates are going to be coming down. So having an adjustable rate with rates coming down makes more sense than locking in today's higher rate.
And you're saying with adjustable rates, you can take funds 3 ways. So lump sum,
right,
with 60% in the first year?
There is a limit in the first year. Back in the 2008 timeframe, people were taking all the money, and then when the market crashed, FHA had to make it up because there's a mortgage insurance premium that people paid. It's an insured, FHA insured. The lender does the loan, it's their loan, but the FHA insures it. So FHA lost a lot of money in that 2008 crash, and so the Congress changed the rules and said, okay, you can only take so much to begin with.
And with that, the borrower actually receives money?
It kind of depends on how everything's structured. If someone has no mortgage at all, there's a lot of money coming to them in one way or another, either the lump sum, monthly disbursements coming to them, or a line of credit. Any money that isn't either dispersed up front or coming to them on a regular basis goes into the line of credit. And that line of credit is unusual in that it grows. It grows at the same interest rate we charge borrowers on the money they're actually using. Many times people use it to pay off an existing mortgage, But we're going to be talking about some strategies later on people who don't really need a reverse mortgage now, but how it might benefit them later in life.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so we just talked about adjustable rates a little bit. Let's talk about proprietary reverse mortgages and the advantages that come with those.
So typically we used a proprietary, we called them jumbo loans before, because you needed about a $2 million home to make it work. Things have changed a lot. And so now maybe a $600,000-$700,000 home might qualify for proprietary. For starters, FHA has a lot of rules about condos. So proprietaries have looser rules. There's still some rules, but a little looser. FHA has a home value limit they use to calculate how much money you get. That's roughly $1.2 million and change right now. Before it had been as low as $240,000 when I first started. But the proprietary loan doesn't have a limit at all. So somebody could have a $8 million home and get the calculation based on the full $8 million rather than the limited $1.2 million that the FHA would do. Wow. So a couple different things going on there. When we have a client, we look at both. So generally FHA fits, like I say, 95% of the people, but we also run the proprietary side by side so we can look and see which makes the most sense. Or are there some special things about that borrower? For instance, the proprietary allows a minimum age of 55, where the FHA has a minimum age of 62.
Wow. Okay, we have 1 minute left. So how is the amount of money determined?
3 different things. Value of the home, of course, age of the youngest borrower, because it's good for both their lifetimes, and current interest rates. Interest rates sort of trump the other two. A 0.25% in interest can mean $10,000 in difference, where a year of age might only be $3,000 difference.
Okay, so Tom, if a client wants to come and talk to you about reverse mortgages, where do they go? Who do they call?
They're going to call the number on their screen. It's usually me answering the phone, maybe my voicemail when I'm out with other clients, but call the number, we'll talk. We'll kind of gather some information, figure out what's going on, what your needs are, what makes sense for you. And then usually I'll come out, we'll sit down face to face and go over it a little bit more.
Tom, thank you so much. You're
Thanks,
watching
Sarah.
2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada, and I'm so excited this afternoon to have Carrie Brown, the clinic manager of Options Veterinary Care, here with us. And Carrie, I love your organization. Please explain to the folks at home what Options Veterinary Care is.
Well, first, thank you so much for having us today. I'm so grateful to be here. Options Veterinary Care is the only nonprofit vet clinic in all of Northern Nevada. We've been in place for about 5 years, and our mission is to help keep people and pets together. About 75% of our clientele are seniors who are low income and who love their pets so much that they're often willing to go without their own needs to make sure their pets get the care that they desire. But they don't have to when they come to Options. We're able to help them with lower cost rates and even when needed, free services.
I love that. So because you are a nonprofit and because you are helping people who otherwise would go without food for themselves, because we all, our pets are our family members, right? Our pets are our family members. So you're always seeking donations of either goods or of money.
Correct. In order to keep us running and to keep the costs affordable to so many of our clients, anything helps, whether it's used towels or pet carriers or bedding or pet food. That all helps our clients maybe afford even the cost of a vaccine. And then monetary donations help us, pay for our staff or pay for medications when someone else cannot afford that.
And talk to me about your staff, because I found it so cool. I toured Options a few months ago, and your staff is so committed to ensuring these pets survive. What kind of education does your staff have?
Right. I am so proud of my staff. They are amazing, dedicated crew, and we would not be here without them. So our vets, we're able to offer a full range of services. We're not an emergency facility, but we're able to do pretty much everything else, from wellness to sick pet exams to spay neuters to major surgeries, including mass removals, bladder stone surgeries, cystotomies, and things like that. And our assistants are some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. So many of our assistants are so dedicated to the mission and the need, not only in Nevada, but across this whole country, for qualified veterinary staff, especially veterinary technicians and veterinarians. Thanks to some generous donors and grants, two of our assistants are actually in tech and training programs to further expand their knowledge and to become licensed technicians. And two more of them are actually doing it on their own bill. And so we're super excited as to how driven everybody is to kind of keep pushing forward this field. And they're really dedicated and want to keep helping pets into the future.
You get a lot of referrals from other veterinarians in town as well, right?
Yes, we really try to be good neighbors. We understand that a lot of the other vet clinics don't have the luxuries that we have of being able to do grant writing, to work with some of these community partners that help us make it more affordable for our clients to afford veterinary care. And so because of that, when these other organizations who, care about their clients and their clients' pets as much as we do, but have more financial constraints, they'll give us a call and see if there are ways that we can actually help that client afford surgery or additional medical care when they run out of funds.
And we're talking about your clinic as a vet clinic to help those who cannot afford, but you're also just a vet clinic.
We are. Yes, we rely on everybody. So we have a wide mix of clients. We certainly have clients who cannot afford anything. We've got a bunch of clients who can afford our reduced pricing. And then we've got clients who just come to us because they love our amazing staff, they love our service, they love our mission, and sometimes they'll pay what they normally would pay at their regular vet. And that helps us help even more people.
Thank you so much for joining us, Carrie. Where can people go to donate?
The best way to see what we're looking for donations is to check out our website. So that is www.optionsveterinarycare.org. And you can also give my staff a call. They love talking. So please call us at 775-499-3700. If your pet needs help, if anyone ever wants a tour, we're always open to that as well. So
and your address on
reach out. We're located at 4690 Longley Lane in Suite 1.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada. Joining us today, Dr. Aditya Nair and Caden Weirman Curtis. They're with the University of Nevada, Reno Aerospace Club. This is so cool, you guys. We've got a picture behind us, but you guys are into rockets, rocket propulsion, and you just launched a massive feat. So, Caden, why don't you tell me about it?
Well, yeah. So we launched our Horizon rocket. It is our research test airframe. Basically, anything that the club personally works on, projects, that sort of stuff is going to be cleared for high-level rocketry with a successful flight on our Horizon airframe. The airframe was built with durability in mind, as we need to launch it multiple times, as we plan on having multiple projects come off. As the airframe actually exceeded our expectations on this launch, and we only had a minor electronical failure, it's basically good to go.
Yay!
We hope to launch again soon.
Well, and your goal was to launch it 16,000 feet high. This happened in the Black Rock Desert in September, and you said that you exceeded that goal?
Yeah, so we got to an altitude of 16,855 feet.
Wow.
So just approaching 17,000.
Okay, so Dr. Nair, this is obviously so cool. We were talking before we even sat down here about rockets and how interesting this is. And you just started a new major program at the university.
Absolutely. So we are super excited and cannot be more proud of the students. This club is an undergraduate-led club, and they have far exceeded in ambition and passion. And this Horizon launch is just, just a thing where we can see how high they can soar. We have a new aerospace program that is starting, both a bachelor's program and a master's program. And we are open to aspiring students just like Caden to not only, study in this field, but kind of lead the field. And this has been made possible because of a $36 million gift, one of the largest private gifts in the university's history by the Guillemot Foundation, and with a lot of support from Tom Hall, who's basically kind of leading a lot of these efforts in terms of developing grassroots pathways for the students, as well as pathways for aviation in at UNR as well. So.
And
super
it's so
exciting.
crazy because you started this new aerospace major and master's program, right?
Yes, bachelor's and master's.
Bachelor's and master's.
Yes.
But Caden, you're not majoring in aerospace.
Yeah, so I'm actually a prime example of one of our club's main core principles, which is aerospace is for everyone, no matter where you come from or what you've done in the past. We're all about getting people interested in this because rockets are cool, drones are cool, and we have plenty of people that think that. One of our main pilots, who's basically leading up our pilot program, is a nursing major. So it's really just a passion that you can take to a degree.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, Dr. Nair, you not only are doing outreach with the club like this, but I was just so excited to hear that the university is now doing epic labs, not only for the typical middle school and high school age groups, but you just completed one for elementary aged kids.
Yeah, it is super exciting. So this is also part, like I said, of developing the students' passion in terms of aerospace right from the beginning, right? So we want to start as early as possible. We are here in Nevada for you when you're ready to take on engineering challenges when you're big, but we want to start from elementary, go to middle school, get your passion even higher up there. And then, again, like I said, we are all waiting for you to lead for the next generation aerospace technology. So for that, we need to start super early. So I believe that, this Epic Lab has been really great. The students really enjoyed themselves. We make it fun. At the same time, we also want to kind of embed the core principles of what aerospace engineering is about right in their, very innocent and budding minds. I mean, they're smart.
And we only have a minute left, but the future of aerospace, we were talking about this before we sat down too. With drone technology, aerospace is just as, if not more important, with the drone technology developing throughout the world.
Yeah. Can you wanna?
So drone technology definitely in the delivery and recovery, as well as in many more applications, is becoming more and more prevalent in our modern day world. And also just space and aerospace as an industry is really ramping up as sort of the tech giants are getting more and more entrepreneurial competition. And it's just amazing to see this budding industry that we can get people interested in.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You are watching 2+U Nevada. You are watching 2+U Nevada, and I am so happy to have Emilio Parga here from the Solace Tree joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So Emilio and I go back decades, and you have been with Solace Tree 23 years. Please give folks at home an overview of what Solace Tree does for our kids.
Yes. The Solace Tree is a nonprofit organization that helps children, teens, and adults who've had death in their life. And we're, peer support program, and it's a free program. And we go into homes, hospitals. We meet people at the organization and schools and businesses. And we just kind of help them get ready to either prepare the children for funerals or help the family navigate, going into the funeral and the grieving process or the service. Just getting it started.
And because of what you do and who you work with on this Mental Health Day, World Mental Health Day, I felt it's so important to have you here so that people understand how to even talk to their kids or communicate with our youth and get them to open up if they're not doing okay.
Yeah, we are in the business of having that intentional dialogue. A lot of times people don't want to talk about it at that time, but if we keep checking in with them, if we keep letting the children, teens, or adults, whoever it might be at any age, let them know that we're here and we're available and we're here to listen, then we just keep checking in with them and we become doers that way. Because it's hard at first, and not everyone's going to share their story because they also have, depending on their age, unprocessed grief. And unprocessed grief and unaddressed grief, if not, processed, can go sideways.
I mean, we even see that, Emilio, with adults, that unprocessed grief. And we had a guest on here last week who said, people will check in with you for maybe the first year, but then that check-in stops. But grieving goes on for life.
Yeah, grieving, it takes a lifetime, and we need to continue to check in past that first year. And it doesn't have to be every day, maybe not every week, but just, monthly, seasonal. I call it seasons of grief, where we all grieve, and then we grieve seasonally. Like right now, we all know it's the fall and the holidays are coming up. So this is a really good time as well to just check in with individuals, family, etc.
I can't believe taking a look at the numbers, first of all, Solace Tree, by the numbers, you've helped 9,873 children, 6,026 teens, and in that you've also helped 4,845 adults to have a total of 20,744. That is enough, Emilio, to fill the Aces Stadium 2 times.
2 times, absolutely.
That's a lot of people.
And they come from Elko, they come from Susanville, they come from Gardnerville, Topaz Lake, Lake Tahoe. They have come from far places, so.
And another staggering statistic, that 1 in 11 children in Washoe County will experience the death of a parent or a sibling by 18.
By 18, not including a friend, a pet, a caregiver, a foster parent. It's just a parent and sibling. So those numbers are very high. And before COVID, before the pandemic, it was higher, and now it's lower. There's just a lot of, even though we have all these resources, it's just that's the number as far as children having a parent or sibling die.
So if somebody's child has experienced loss, or if there's a school that has many children who have experienced a loss, what kind of services does Solace Tree provide, and how do people do that outreach?
So the Solace Tree is just specifically for people who've had somebody die, but we also have a program called the Good Grief Project. It's in schools, and it's for kids and teenagers experiencing all loss. So incarceration, their parents are going through a divorce. I've even heard kids say, I'm also going through that divorce, very profound. Foster care, maybe they moved and they're having some friendship or anger management issues, anger issues. So we have those programs to help kids, we help them navigate them with a school counselor and other kids experiencing other losses in their life, not just death.
Okay. And then how can we help as a community?
So it's a nonprofit organization. We work 7 days a week. So we work around, the school, hospitals, the state, different professionals. We're a complement to many professions here in town. We're always looking for donations because we provide free services and we need sponsors. So, we're just glad to do this 23 years later, and the community's been great, and we just need more support because it's just the times are different.
Okay, contact information, website, phone number.
775-324-7723 is our office number. And then the solacetree.org is our website, solacetree.org.
Emilio, thank you. And as a parent, we're both parents here. Last words of advice to anybody watching at home.
We need to be mindful of what's happening with our kids, our kids, our teenagers, even as adults, as parents, just kind of checking in. So much unprocessed grief and unaddressed grief from the past catches up to marriages, relationships, professions. And we just need to be available to listen and check in with others, not just on anniversary days, but every once in a while, throughout the week.
Emilio Parga. You're watching 2+U Nevada. Finally, this afternoon, just in time for the holiday season, great news from the world of the Kraft Heinz Company. Philadelphia cream cheese is bringing magic to your kitchen. Philadelphia frozen cheesecake and cinnamon cream cheese frosting. Hello. Both products are being rolled out nationwide, so ask your favorite market if they have them. That's a wrap on our week of 2+U Nevada. Thank you for inviting us into your home this afternoon. We hope you're going to have a fantastic weekend, and we look forward to joining you every weekday at 3 for 2+U Nevada. 2 News Nevada at 4 starts now.